up, y'all? Kofi Kingston here, and I would love to have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks, depending on what that drink is, preferably non-alcoholic, you know?
How's it going? Celtic Warrior Sheamus.
Soda.
I would love to have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks.
Maple syrup.
Fella.
I would never have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks.
Are you ready? Are you ready for a good time? Welcome to episode 1. That's right. Episode 1 for Wrestling on the Rocks. This is the show where every show is our first show because we don't move on to the next show until we get the first one right. We haven't gotten one right yet. 2 years in, 1 episode down. Kev.
We're looking for perfection.
We are looking for perfection. We are WOTR the show. I am at Ref Marsh. This is Kevlar on the Rocks with an X. Say hello, Kev.
Big X. Hello. How you guys doing?
Sounds good to me. Sounds good to me.
He actually, he kind of went into the mic there.
Did he lean into the mic a little bit? We got Kevlar mic'd up. We did it. If you guys, anyone who's watching live on twitch.tv/Wrestling on the Rocks, you will see Kevlar is mic'd up for the first time in a long time. First time, as he says.
Yep. Something like that.
Yeah. First time caller, long time mic. I don't know how it works.
Long time caller, first time listener.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude, I would love that. Look, I call in a lot. Well, I do not listen to your guys' program. But
Not
I got a
at
lot
all.
to say. Guys, let's just start it easy. Okay, what were you gonna say, Kev? What was that?
I was going to ask, what's in your glass?
Yeah, let's just start it easy. Let's get to drinking, and let's get to a little bit of wrestling. There's very little news, but we do have like 1 or 2 things we want to throw out there. One of those things being our prowrestlingtees.com/Wrestling on the Rocks site. If you just go to wrestlingontherocks.com, go to shop, it'll link you right over there to the shop, where you can get the new IIronics shirt. That's right, me and Kevlar back at it again. The IIronics, greatest tag team in all of podcasting. That's right.
Oh,
and
Marshy K.
And we have our new episode 1 t-shirt. The idea came from Kev, I'm not going to lie. We popped it out. Looked really good.
I have a few of them every once in a while.
Yeah. Well, I like the way I found out about the idea is you're like, I've been trying to find a t-shirt like this for me to wear on our show for like months. And I'm like, or tell me you want a shirt like that. We'll just fucking make one. So.
And
Kev,
we did it.
We did it. Kev, I am drinking Brabant 12.
The Irish whiskey.
Yeah, I'm getting Irish.
Uh-oh.
Irish, you good day. Kev, what are you drinking? What's in your glass?
I'm drinking Kachina Throwback Ale from Grand Canyon Brewery. Coyotes themed. Like the hockey team, not the animal.
Oh,
or the
God. Fucking mangy,
or the
gamey.
guys that smuggle people into the United States, not them.
That's a good point too. In this neighborhood, you got to be clear on that.
Yes,
it's true. I thought you were gonna tell me the beer was pretty gamey, and I was like, ooh, you know what I mean?
It is a howler.
So good. It's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be a good one. I mean, I'm trying to look at what we have here that's even relevant for news. There's some. I'll tell you. There's some Chelsea Green hubbub online. She used a digital artist's graphic that he made for her that said now taking bookings and had her face and her email on it. And she didn't credit him. And when he asked her if she would credit him, she goes, "I'll just delete it." And so then the guy was all like,
"That's how the internet works."
It was very Twitter. All of it felt very Twitter. Because then the guy responds with like, "Look, I'm not asking you to pay me. Just put a little @ on there and let people know I made it. You know, I'm trying to make this into a living." And then she's like, blocked, and blocked him. So all that's going on. You know, there's a lot more to it. There's a lot of tweets going back and forth, a lot of people taking sides on it. My only side on the whole thing is it that hard to give someone credit when they made a thing that you like?
I'm wondering, because I've never heard about this, but I'm just wondering right now if he had his Twitter handle on there and she edited it out.
From what I could tell, I don't believe that to be the case.
Oh, okay.
I know I'll put mine in kind of obnoxious places sometimes without trying to disturb the piece too much. So that way it becomes a little obvious if it gets cropped out and starts to look weird. But a lot of people were coming down on the guys just saying hey, watermark the shit out of your stuff from now on. And I'm like, I get that. But part of me doesn't want, because I did that. I made a watermark for my own drawings that is a layer where it's just my name repeatedly over it. And I just kind of if I make it faint enough, you can still see the drawing, but it's all over it. And I was like, I've seen those also get cropped in really weird ways to try to minimize how much of that you can see. So I think that people are going to do it either way. And ultimately, if I'm doing a piece of fan art for somebody, I don't want to be holding the fan art also hostage. Because that's what it kind of feels like to me. If you want to see the full piece, come pay me. And it's I'm not exactly doing that. It's one thing if they want to ask me to commission something. Oh, hey, I want a t-shirt. Design me a t-shirt. Okay, let's talk about it. I need something for this, you know.
You can reach him at Marsh at OnlyFans.
Yeah, at Marsh on OnlyFans. Iron Manzi. He's a friend of the show. He's been on a couple times. He's reached out to me a few times to design a t-shirt for him, a couple of videos for him, and we figured out a price and went with it. And I didn't watermark it up or anything like that. And he went out there, put it out there, has made a few bucks on it, and he usually tags me in his posts when he talks about it. But it's not like I'm seeing revenue on the shirt or whatnot. And it's also fine. We had our agreement. We did it, and he shouts me out, even though that's also a discussion people are having. If you pay for it, do you need to tag them? I do think that could be discretionary. It could be part of the deal. I don't know. I don't understand contracts. You know what I mean?
It could just be cordial.
Yeah, I think that's where I come from. What makes it so hard?
Yeah.
Why is it so hard to just tag someone real quick and be like, hey, this person made this art. If you want similar art, here's where they can be found. Producer had something she wanted to say about it.
On the flip side, Sami Zayn, his dancing shirt is doing awesome.
It's no longer for sale. Yesterday was the last day to buy it. If you're listening to this tomorrow when the podcast drops, 2 days ago, you are out of luck on that one.
You still missed out.
Still missed out. Officially not on sale, but it apparently did very well. Well, he did tweet about it, and he tagged the artist in it, which I thought is great. I mean, it's a thrill I can tell you just from making fan art that I'm not trying to utilize for a thing. If the person tags you in it or retweets it direct and says, look at this, it feels great. It's awesome. It's not only do they like it, but they appreciate it enough to share it. It's so cool. So love to see stuff like that. Chelsea Green took a whole different route on it. I don't know. I don't know her, obviously, and I don't know all the details of the whole thing, but my whole stance on the whole thing is, it's not hard to just tag someone. They do something for you. And so, anything you want to throw in on that, Kev?
Nope. It's a real dick move, if you ask me, on her part.
Not much to say other than dick.
Yeah.
Anything like that? No, you said it. Dick.
Yeah.
Asshole. asshole. Jesus.
That's okay.
The other piece of news that I see that dropped at this point 25 minutes ago, so you heard it here first, if you heard it here at all. Championship Wrestling, the company that's been owned and operated by David Marquez, formerly with the NWA, and honestly one of the early promotions that even put the NWA back on TV at all, when Billy Corgan bought it and gave the title to Nick Aldis, like just crowned him champion more or less. They did like a match, but I think it was at CWHF, which was Championship Wrestling and Hollywood Wrestling. I don't know how it goes. He's opening up a branch in Atlanta. Championship Wrestling from Atlanta is about to add a whole new local broadcast to the portfolio. 4 years in the making, news and information to follow. So we're going to see some local high-quality wrestling coming out of Atlanta. I think it's fantastic.
Yes, yes, it is.
Oh, my God.
Sorry. Audio's on a little bit of a delay.
Is it a little bit of a delay? There's also a ton
I'm just
happening in the
kidding.
chat, it looks like, and I can't see it. Leah Moonlight's coming through. Cheers, Leah Moonlight. Cheers to Fab Tina.
Yeah, it's just
Okay. I don't have my chat open yet.
saying that bitch.
Bitch. I says, bitch. But congratulations to David Marquez. Cheers to David Marquez. I got to meet him.
Cheers.
It's too late. I'm having it. Cheers to David Marquez.
And congratulations.
And congratulations on that. He's been doing a bunch with United Wrestling. Very cool. And he was, I got the chance to talk to him when I was in Atlanta for NWA. Super cool guy. Really nice. He's been with wrestling for history of all time, so far as I can tell.
It makes it that much better when they're nice people on top of that.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. I'm a David Marquez guy. I'm going to make one of those shirts.
Yep. You're a Marquez Mark?
Yeah, I'm a David Marquez Mark. Does that make you a Mark?
Yeah, Mark.
David Mark? And the Funky Bunch?
Yeah, I was about to say Funky Bunch.
Kev, let's just get into it. Let's dive in. I don't have any other news.
Nothing that I can think of.
Yeah, it was Kane's birthday a couple days ago. Cheers to Kane, Mayor
Hall of Famer?
of Hell.
Yes. May he go to hell and be happy. Cheers.
Yeah. All of his dreams. Well, let's talk about it. Let's get into SmackDown, dude.
All right.
There's plenty of reasons to drink this week, to be honest. I rewatched both SmackDown and Raw today in their entirety.
Why?
To make sure that I
bored?
really felt the right way about it. I will say Raw, the past several weeks, has been better on the second watch than the first watch. And I wonder if it's just because I've come so numb to it by that point. You know what I mean? It doesn't hurt as bad.
You're not excited for it anymore. Your expectations are low, and you're like, you know what? It wasn't that bad.
Yeah, when I go, oh, God. And then I think the other thing is I know when to just space out now. Like, I know my cues. I'll be like, oh, this is the whole segment where I can just blank out, you know? So, well, let's talk SmackDown, though. SmackDown, how did it open up? It opened up with Seth Rollins and Cesaro, Jey Uso. Yeah, how's he call him? Cesaro? I think that's what Seth's been calling Cesaro online. Cesaro said it in the thing. But yeah, it opened up with Cesaro. Seth Rollins came out, cut a hell of a promo. Jey Uso comes out, riled the fuck up, comes at Cesaro and says, "You already been done told. I'm beat the shit out of you." Fucking Seth. I loved this part where Seth puts the mic down and starts talking to Jey, like through the camera mic, where he's like, let's split up. Let's do this thing. We'll surround him. And Jay's intensity in his eyes, that's what I was talking about months ago on episode 1. The subtleties that we see on SmackDown, we do not see on other shows. And this is one of them. The intensity in his eyes. And when Seth's like, trust me, just and the way Jey was just like, I'll roll with you. And then when he says, all right, go, or whatever, the way Jay, I mean, it comes off so natural. It's just Jay. That's just who Jay is, because he just goes like, "Yup," and moves over, and it sounded so real and legit, and it didn't sound forced in any way. It's just him. Yup. Not even like a yeah or yes. It says yup, like a bruh. The way that they would say that before when they would do the promos. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Just real quick.
Yeah,
to the
just this
point.
quick.
Cut the word in half almost.
Exactly that. Fucking, I loved it, and I thought Seth was doing tremendous here. Daniel Bryan comes running out, so Seth and Jay are like, "Fuck it, let's get out of here." Then Daniel Bryan cuts this tremendous promo where he's even saying like, "Why did everyone come out here?" And is like breaking down the segment from a standpoint, which was so great. He's like, "Cesaro's out here because, Roman's a bitch." He's like, "Seth came out here because he's feeling like a little bitch because Cesaro beat him up at WrestleMania." And he goes, "Jay, you only came out here because your cousin told you I'm willing to bet." That moment too, where the camera pans back to Jay, and he just kind of like looks to the side a little bit and like nods his head a little bit, like, "Yeah, so."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, which I thought added a whole other thing, because it's all like him being like the right hand. When he came out on fire, you kind of almost halfway thought Jay's just on fire and he's not going to stand for this. And then Daniel Bryan says that one line, and Jay just responds with like, "Yeah, he made me do it." And it was like, fuck. Like, he said it all with his eyes. Like, "Yeah, he makes me."
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Then Roman comes out. Kev, what'd you think about all this?
I liked it. I really liked it. Like you said, when Daniel Bryan started breaking down, like, why everyone's there and stuff like that. Excuse me. It brought a little humor into it. So I liked it. And yeah, just like you said, the little things that if you're not watching and you're just, halfway paying attention, you're going to miss a lot of stuff. Yeah. Even when, further along in the promo, when Roman says his thing and then just leaves, and Seth, you can see Seth in the background, like, "Where are you going? Like, dude, come on. We got the advantage back. Let's go."
And
I thought
everything
it was
that
all
Roman's
great.
saying and stuff, you can see Seth off to the side reacting to everything that each person is saying. He'll like nod his head a little bit. He was smiling at points. He was kind of like putting his hand out, like, "You see." It was phenomenal.
Yep.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off like that. But I was agreeing with you. Even the
DJ
people not
cut off.
involved. Yeah. Like,
Sorry.
when you think of these segments, and we talk about, or I mean, other people talk about, because we don't know shit, we don't pretend we do. People talk about how it's all scripted and all this stuff, but you're seeing these other characters, these other people involved who aren't directly involved in the dialogue, feeding off of that dialogue and providing reactions and more story within it, and sometimes even little lines, little quirks. It's legit, man. There's no way that is scripted down to that level. There's no way in like, "Seth, you be over there and you're going to snicker when he says this, and we want you to say yes when he says this." Like, there's just no fucking way.
Yeah, it definitely highlights the talent.
Yeah.
It's like you're watching a movie or a show, and you have the background actors, whatever they're called, extras. There you go. Reacting to what's going on, and they're just doing it naturally. Like I said, it highlights them as a talent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then when I think it's even cooler too is when I kind of like scope out a little bit on this one. You've got Roman Reigns, Paul Heyman, Seth Rollins, Jey Uso, Cesaro, and Daniel Bryan, and no one feels out of place.
Yes.
How fucking badass is that? Even Cesaro, who we love, but there does seem to feel a little bit of he's going to have this little run as a little spike because he's so good. He deserves like a title shot somewhere in his career. It doesn't feel like we're going the way that Cesaro actually becomes champion or anything. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean that the presence of Roman is so great. It feels like quite something to try and topple, that for Cesaro to be in that conversation right now of all times. Because I feel like that if Cesaro was in the conversation when Seth was champion, you'd say, "Hey, fuck, Cesaro might take this." Because people are not
Yeah.
behind Seth at that time when he was Universal Champion.
I mean,
feels out of place here. Go ahead.
it feels natural. Just the progression from Edge and Daniel Bryan getting their shot to, Cesaro wanting to step up and stuff like that. Unlike Raw, where it's just forced. All right, Drew's getting another shot. Oh, Drew's going to do this. Oh, Drew's going to do that.
Yes.
It's cool to, pass the baton and say, all right, next guy up, even though, everything happened. Daniel Bryan now has a shot, but it still feels natural and like you said, not forced. No one feels out of place. Just good.
And don't we all feel like Cesaro's going to be up for a Universal title shot pretty soon?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Did anyone notice? Did you notice? Cesaro didn't even speak. They literally had Seth and Daniel Bryan cut promos on Cesaro's behalf.
Yeah.
The way that Seth came over and put over Cesaro from a heel perspective on what makes Cesaro so good, but did it all backhandedly because he's fucking heel as fuck. But his whole you're awful, you couldn't beat me on your best day, and all it did was make Cesaro seem more right. Like, he did beat you. And it was a fine day. And Cesaro was able to just scream over towards him, come into the ring now, let's do it again. Like, make Cesaro looks that much more confident and sure. And us as fans were like, yeah, if I can get in there, Cesaro can do it again. Cesaro's a swinging son of a bitch.
Yeah, he's a swinger.
He's a swinger. Then Daniel Bryan comes out and he cuts a whole promo on Cesaro's behalf on how he's the hardest working guy. No one works harder than Cesaro. Cesaro's over there just being like, don't say that. You work just as hard as me. And I loved also there's that moment where Daniel Bryan says, I came out here to get Cesaro a Universal Championship match. And he goes, you notice how no one's ever, how I've never come out here on your behalf, Seth? And Seth just kind of off mic just goes, because I don't need you to. I can get him on my own.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck yes. So good. It was just awesome. I loved it. And I can't wait to see where we end up going with it. I mean, we'll get towards the end, I guess, at the end. But
yeah. And see, the other thing is, that I want to add real quick is it's cool because it's a natural progression. Because before we were thinking, all right, Seth versus Cesaro at WrestleMania. It's like, okay, they have their little back and forth, kind of where's it going to go from here? And it, and this hasn't happened in WWE to me in a while, and other promotions as well, where it's like a natural storyline then feeds into the other one. And, it's great. This is what makes great storytelling.
Yeah, absolutely. This is so layered because Seth's whole thing was Cesaro, you're in over your head even getting a match with me. Don't you realize who I am as Seth Rollins? As much as Charlotte wants to fucking come out and be like, this is why they call me the opportunity. Oh, really? What has ever happened to anybody who beat you? Outside of Becky. That's a whole other discussion. You get really into the weeds about Becky and Charlotte. But what happened to Sasha when she was beating Charlotte? What happened to Bayley when she beat Charlotte twice? Were those the championship matches that did it for Bayley? You know what I mean? It was all the other stuff around it. When Cesaro beat Seth Rollins, he's now in the title picture. Like that is Seth could go around saying, I'm the opportunity. Look what happens when you beat me in a fluke. You get a Universal title shot. That's how much it means to beat me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But we'll talk about that too on Raw, just because of the way that commentary was shitting on everybody, not Charlotte. It was really weird to me. But
yeah.
But this was fantastic, and like you said, it's been feeding into 4 weeks, for months. It's Cesaro isn't ready for Seth. You're not going to get a match with me. So Shinsuke comes out and picks a fight with Seth. They do their thing. Then you end up moving, and it's this kind of deal too, where it's kind of like, oh, how long is this going to go on for? This has just been intertwined for a couple months now. And it's fantastic.
Yeah.
And like you said, now it seems natural that Cesaro is just in the talks of why couldn't he be a contender? He beat Seth. He's been looking strong. He's been doing great. Like, why can't he be a contender? Yeah. And this is why, because 3 months ago he was fighting someone on the mid card.
Yeah, and I like that it's taking other people as well to, like you said, Shinsuke. Shinsuke kind of, I don't want to say Cesaro was using him as a stepping stone, but is kind of like helping him up. Like,
Yeah.
all right, cool. And I think that's great. You have, if you go back into the grand scheme of this storyline now, you have, what, 10, 12 people involved on both sides, and it's awesome.
Yeah, all making Cesaro look great. I think it's dope. I think it's so dope.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
Can't wait till Great Balls of Fire when he gets his shot.
WrestleMania, Great Balls of Fire.
Oh, yeah. Yes. See, and real quick, I said it before, like, I hate this name of WrestleMania Backlash. Because now everything that they say, WrestleMania Backlash, this has big implications for WrestleMania Backlash. I don't like it. It doesn't flow.
It's actually at this point been a bit shocking. I didn't think it was going to bother me as much as it does, because the thing is like Backlash has always been WrestleMania Backlash. It's always been the backlash for what happened at WrestleMania. It's been that way.
The unofficial title, now that they added the actual title to it, it's so weird.
Yeah, and it makes for really weird sound bites, right?
Yes.
So when I mean, I don't mean to fast forward all the way, but when you get to the end of Raw, I mean, it's fast forwarding all the way, but Corey Graves says Braun Strowman just punched his ticket to WrestleMania Backlash. There was like a half pause where I was all like, did he just say Braun Strowman's going to WrestleMania? And I was like, oh no, it's WrestleMania Backlash. So
next year
like,
he's got his title shot.
Yeah, he just punched his ticket for a year from now. Yeah, it's and it does seem a little bit. Do you think? I can't imagine it has anything to do with like just Peacock in general, because they make weird little changes when they move like to networks and stuff and try to get people with eyes on it. I wonder if they're just throwing the WrestleMania logo on there because of Peacock, though.
Yeah, I now that you bring that up, I'm wondering about that as well, because I think if people see WrestleMania, they're like, "Oh, cool, I want to watch this." There's some people that only watch WrestleMania each year. So if you throw on WrestleMania Backlash, it's like, oh wait, there's another part to it, when really it's been there the whole time.
Yeah, but here's really your.
I bet you that has something to do with it.
It makes the most sense to me, just because if and they even said, Stephanie said in one of her calls, and I don't know what's real or not or anything, but they did one of the calls and someone quoted it where she said that WrestleMania, because of Peacock and through that partnership, had more eyes on it this year than it's had in a number of years. Regardless of the fact that there was nobody there. Well, I mean, there were some people there, but you know what I mean? It had more eyes on it than ever before.
Yes.
I think that people saw the WrestleMania thing. They said WrestleMania streaming live. And they said, fuck it, put it on. I think that they're banking on the idea. Yeah.
I got the streaming service already. I don't have to pay extra. Cool. Let me check it out.
Yeah, I bet you WrestleMania Backlash is a move to try and get half of the viewership back. Just the half who look at things like WrestleMania and be like, oh, we did watch WrestleMania. Look, this is like part 2 of WrestleMania. Let's check it out.
Mm-hmm. It makes sense. And that's what Vince always says. If it doesn't make dollars, then it don't make sense.
Does Vince say that to you a lot?
All the time. Every week before our show when he calls me.
He calls you for the pre-show.
Yeah.
Let's see, that did lead into a match, though. We had Cesaro versus Daniel Bryan, or Cesaro and Daniel Bryan versus Seth Rollins and Jey Uso. It was a really good match. Seth walked away, and so the win obviously went to the babyfaces beating the shit out of Jey Uso, like right there at the end. I feel like Seth has done that in the past. I feel like that he's got a history of being a heel and being like, I'm not losing this match, I'd rather just leave.
Yeah, well, what was it? Was it Survivor Series when he had the news of the baby or whatever?
Yeah, he sacrificed
or
himself.
whatever it was. Yeah.
Hell yeah. No, that's true. It was a really good match, though. I thought it was awesome. I mean, especially as a match to open a show. Like, this could have been a main event for sure.
Mm.
Oh, man. I need more booze.
Wake up.
Bad. I need more booze. I only had a couple cups of coffee.
You need
Wasn't
that cold brew.
allowed to have more coffee or anything. What?
You need that
I'll have more booze.
Jameson cold brew.
That Jameson
Wake your
cold
ass
brew
up.
poison that I have. Today we found out it's like all wicked expired.
No, really?
It all tastes like soy sauce now and shit. It's all oily. It's like, what the fuck happened here? No wonder it was on sale.
Put it on the rice.
Yeah, I'm just gonna dribble it on rice. Will be good. Got to get more sushi to put
Put
that
an egg
whiskey
roll
on
in
it.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. We did have Tamina versus Nia
I got
Jax
a whiskey
right
roll.
after that.
Sorry.
Yeah. Tamina versus Nia Jax. This is where Mandy gets involved, right?
No. No. I don't remember. I've seen too much of Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler.
Yeah, I'm reading these notes real quick because...
I will be
Baszler
honest.
kept trying to get involved. Baszler was trying to get involved and kept like holding Nia Jax's foot, and the ref was like looking right at it and was like, "Hey, stop that!" No, she's making contact. I don't care if it's her partner or not. That's it. Match over.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
Call it.
Yeah, that really bothered me.
I won't-
I was all,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. When I first heard Nia Jax music, I was like, "What the fuck? Why is she coming out here? Like, she's not the tag champs anymore." And then when they showed her, I was like, "Oh wait, yeah, they are." So shit.
Yeah,
I got
still
pissed.
Fucking tag champs. Yeah. Yeah.
Ever since WrestleMania, I've been celebrating that Tamina and Natty have won it, but I forgot that they didn't.
I know. I'm still like having a hard time dealing with that. But then, so Baszler gets involved. Reginald comes back. Nia gets confused, and then Tamina gets the win. Tamina, though, she did look mean as fuck.
She did look good. It did look. I'm glad that they kind of embraced the no one's meaner. She was in there just fucking laying her out.
Yeah. Yeah, and she was looking strong as hell. She was like lifting up Nia for Samoan drops and shit. And I was like, God damn.
Mm-hmm.
The whole finish, I remember being a bit sloppy and weird because Nia Jax was involved and she had to take a fall and she fucking like a weeble. She doesn't even move as smooth as a weeble, to be honest.
If it's not on water on the outside of the ring, she can't do it naturally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. And Natty was out there looking good and all that, so... Yeah, I guess that was what it was. I like Tamina getting the win. I really want these titles off of Nia and Shayna. I guess we just see how it goes.
You know the weird thing to me is, isn't everyone beating them
Yes.
except for when the titles are on the line?
Yes.
Kind of getting on my nerves.
Yeah. Shayna and Nia look the weakest they've ever looked as the longest reigning tag champs of all time.
Are they?
I don't know. They're probably close.
I thought the IIronics. I almost said IIronics. I thought the IIronics had it the longest.
Damn you. There was the breakup though. I know Charlotte took the title off them for a couple weeks.
Oh yeah.
So that could be messing up those numbers. Sort of like how Bayley has the longest SmackDown title reign at 380 days. But if you don't count the 5 days that Charlotte took it, she would have been champion for over 500 days. Charlotte just goes around trying to fuck up people's records just so she can have more.
Yeah.
Bullshit. And it's always like, oh, I don't want you to have too much of a record, We'll give you just enough that I can break it later. That's what it feels like. Bullshit.
Or end it.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, God, I don't like any of this. And the fact that Nia and Shane are on every show, which at least they're doing that with the tag titles, but the tag titles aren't on the line, and they're not in tag matches on every show. They're having singles matches here and there and stuff. They don't need to be doing that. So, I don't know. Let's see. We did have the Intercontinental Championship match. Kevin Owens versus Apollo Crews. That was really cool, man. It was a good match. I really liked the backstage stuff with Big E and Kevin Owens. Where Big E
and I didn't like it.
Well, tell me.
I didn't like it because, everyone's been saying Big E needs to be more serious, and I agree. I like his goofiness, but he doesn't have to be 100% serious.
Yeah.
But I don't like that every time somebody is cutting a promo with Big E, they're laughing. It's like, kind of like, I don't know how to describe it. Not vengeful laughing, but like, laughing with a chip on your shoulder, I guess.
Yeah.
And, Kevin Owens did it. I think Apollo did it. Who was it? Sheamus? I think him and Big E did it. Every time there's like a kind of serious promo between Big E and somebody, they're laughing. And I don't like it.
Maybe that's part of the whole thing, right? Is that because he's so goofy and jovial all the time that he has a hard time even proving to his peers that he means it, that they're laughing at him, and that might be developing a bigger chip on his shoulder in general. I told you I meant it, and you laughed in my face. You know what I mean?
But it's not like they're laughing together. Like Big E and Kevin Owens laughing together, even though they're, like I said, I don't know how to describe the laugh, a vengeful laugh.
Yeah.
But I don't like it. Like I said, I know him and Sheamus did it. Like I said, I think him and Apollo did it. And I want to say there's even one other person that they did that, like, ha ha ha. And it was like, I just didn't like it.
Yeah, I could see that. It is kind of an interesting way to do it, where they're both just kind of like, ha. What I liked about it was that it showed that Big E still has a bit of a chip on his shoulder when it comes to Kevin Owens from when Big E was injured and Kevin came in as the Big O and was part of New Day for a little bit and then turned on them. And then when Kofi was supposed to get a shot at Daniel Bryan for the title, and then all of a sudden Kevin Owens came out and signed the contract. And the fact that Kevin did all that stuff against New Day, even though Kevin's like a good guy now, he still did all that shit not that long ago. So I like that there's tension between Big E and Kevin Owens, because it's like, dude, you might be cool with a lot of these people now. I don't fucking trust you, man. You've done nothing but fuck around me and my buddies this whole time.
Mm-hmm.
So I like that aspect of it for sure. Let me see. The match itself was really good. Kevin versus Apollo. Let's see. Then Commander Aziz does the nail to Kevin Owens' throat.
What do you think of the nail as the move?
It's hard to tell what's happening, but I get it, and it's pretty cool in general. But it's hard to see it. You know what I mean? Like, he's got his thumb out, and he hits you in a pressure point on the neck that fucking is kind of paralyzing.
Kills
to be
you.
honest.
Yeah.
Well, it's paralyzing. When I was in the Department of Corrections, they teach you a bunch of self-defense, and most of the self-defense teaching is major pressure points that with a solid strike can just topple somebody of any size. There's an area in the neck like that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So,
go
ahead.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of, like, the moves and finishers that they had in, like, the early 90s.
Yeah. I'd go back even further, but yeah. Like the claw.
Yeah. Yeah, the claw. What was it? Was that Crush's move? Where you, like, grabbed your head and...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nikolai Volkov, I think, did it.
Yeah, there's a couple
Or
moves
Ivan
like
Volkov.
that.
Yeah.
And...
The old heart punch.
I kind of like it. Yeah. I kind of like it. Yeah, the Big John Studd heart punch.
Yeah.
Like, I like it. It to me, it's almost a nod back to those, like, awkward finishers that you look at it and you're like, doesn't really do anything, but cool.
I agree. That's kind of what I thought about it too. I was like, I feel like that if we look back, we'll figure out who did this move 50 years ago. You know what I mean?
Like the Mountie or something like that.
Yeah, somebody probably did that a long time ago, and that's what he's got going on now. So I do like it for that. I do like it because there is that pressure point in the neck, but
yeah,
I hear you. It's a bit clunky and it's a little weird, and it's hard to tell what's going on. Let's see. During this match, we haven't even talked about how amazing Pat McAfee's been throughout this show, but during this match, Sami Zayn comes out, sits ringside, and he's on commentary during the match. Some of the commentary going on is so fucking funny, especially between Sami and Pat McAfee. Like, Sami comes out, he's sitting there for a minute, and he goes, Pat McAfee says, Sami, Michael Cole told me a second ago when your mic was off. What the hell is he doing out here?
Yeah.
You want to tell us what brought you out? But, like, just his constant attempts to bury Michael Cole. Just, let me tell you what Michael Cole whispered to me when the mics were off.
Yeah.
So fucking funny.
An antagonist. It's so great.
Yeah. And then when Sami Zayn said to Michael Cole that, I'm not surprised that someone like you is happy the documentaries are coming out, because let me tell you something, you don't look so great in it, Michael Cole. And then Pat McAfee's like, cancel Michael Cole's going to be trending on the internet once your show comes out, won't it, Sami? Like,
when it's cool too, because McAfee says that he's a lifelong wrestling fan, and he's kind of like one of us, and I think it's cool because you could see him like flip flop a little bit.
Yeah,
like he's not the traditional heel commentator or the traditional face or comic relief. He like goes around like the whole thing and just says whatever he wants. Almost. Obviously he doesn't, but
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. And it's hysterical. There's times where you hear Michael Cole start talking afterwards, and you're like, how are you keeping it together, Michael Cole? It was ridiculous. Sami Zayn and Pat McAfee are so good together. Actually, I think Pat McAfee and Michael Cole have been really good together. This week also. You could see Pat McAfee standing ringside, literally standing up at the desk to watch. And I was like, this is so fucking cool. He looks like he's so into it.
Hey, Kuro, just in time.
Kuro coming through the chat. Cheers to Kuro. He wants to talk about Chelsea Green. But that's actually how we open the show. So once the podcast drops, just go back and watch the beginning or listen to the beginning. Wherever your favorite podcast, that's where you can find us talk about Chelsea Green.
Hey, just in time.
Just in time coming through. New alumni. Just in time. He was on last week. He'll be on next week for our May 4th edition. The May the 4th be with you. Starworth.
Did you just say Star Fourth?
Starworth 4th. It's gonna be good stuff, man.
Real good.
Yeah. He does say it was such a great idea to put McAfee on commentary, and I agree, dude. Like, he's picked it up so fast. He's so good at it. It's amazing. And it's also not a big surprise when you think about how the way he talks in general. I mean, I've told you before, I've watched a bunch of clips of him from his podcast talking about sports. I don't know jack shit about any of the words he's using, anything he's talking about, the names, numbers, none of it means anything to me. And I'm enthralled and I feel educated. And I'm all like, hey, Kev, what do you think about this? McAfee's saying this about it. And it's like, he talks like a wrestler talks, like a promo talks.
Yeah, I mean, it almost gets on my nerves that it took WWE this long to put him on commentary.
Yeah, at that point, you're like, what are you guys fucking around for?
Yeah.
See, Kuro is throwing out there that, unless we didn't mention it, Chelsea Green did eventually give credit to the guy, but after she blocked him. Yeah, there's a little bit of that. So she blocks him. Then she deleted it. Then she put it back. Then she put like a tag on there, but he's still blocked. And I don't know. It's a mess. And I don't know that she's handling things well, but that's her gimmick, right? She's a hot mess. Man. Stupid. So stupid. I guess. I'm just looking at the way this is laid out. When did all the fucking Street Profits stuff happen? Were the Street Profits not in a match? Neither were the Dirty Dogs. There was just a segment. Yeah, so there would have just been a segment right here, followed by the Aleister Black segment. So there was a segment backstage. Oh, no, it went the other way around. I have it the other way around. So Aleister Black, Michael Cole, and I love it. When they do Yeah, when they do the camera right on Michael Cole and Pat McAfee, and McAfee saying something, you could see Michael Cole like looking and listening to him, but with this look on his face, like, I've got to say my line thing. I got to get it out fast enough. You better fucking finish. And they time it out so perfect. And the way that Michael Cole goes, yep, let me take you here. We're going to hear from Aleister Black. Right before it cuts, you see Pat McAfee just go like, what? And look over at Michael Cole like in total shock. Like, what? You fucking kidding me? Like, just so hyped. It's fucking so good. So then there was a story time. Story time by old Aleister Black. And I'll tell you right now, this motherfucker's missing the gimmick. He should be having a pipe, dude. This guy should be smoking an old-timey Mershwin, long-ass stemmed wooden pipe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. He needs like a Mr. Rogers sweater vest on.
Well, that'd be nice.
Not a sweater vest, like a
You could
sweater.
change his
Yeah.
shoes. Yeah, you could change his shoes right at the beginning. So
Yeah.
he told the story, this book he's got called The Dark Father. Bunch of animation in there that looked kind of creepy and weird. Reminded me of that video game that we played on our channel a couple of times, Inside and Limbo. What did you think about this story where he was involved with this dragon and then he realized at some point that they weren't training him to defeat the dragon, but to become the dragon? Is like a super summed up way of putting it. What did you think of it overall before I tell you what I thought?
I mean, I like that they brought Aleister Black back. And when they first showed him, I was like, oh, cool. You know, I saw that he had glasses on, but it looked like they were like some kind of sunglasses. Like when they first like flashed his image, and I was like, oh, cool. What does he have on? And then, like you said, the old story time teller, and I was like, what the hell is this? And then the story, I don't know, it was a little weird, and I mean, after seeing it, I think I had more questions than anything, and I guess that's what you want from the first kind of thing like this.
You definitely want a chapter 1 to not feel like it's over, so I'll give you that. There's definitely part of it that you kind of want more questions. It reminded me of Xia Li's whole thing in NXT, and I don't know if you've been able to watch any of that, but if you haven't, I'll send you some of it. But Xia Li had a whole story animation thing that was very, very similar, which makes me wonder, we haven't seen Xia Li in a couple of weeks on NXT, if her and Boa and Tien Shaw all end up in a faction with Aleister Black. Then you'd have a women's tag team and a male tag team. It seems like they could do just fine for a little bit, you know? The idea that Aleister Black would be trained by the same kind of style and whatnot. He does have a martial arts style about him. So I think it could function very, very well. I did think, Carrillo thinks Aleister Black was trying to tell us about the new iPhone, but no one's paying attention. I think out of all the promos that Aleister Black was doing for so long, and the amount of weird shit he would say that didn't mean anything, and then he would just be hiding in the closet. Yeah, come on, knock on my door. Aleister's waiting for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it didn't go anywhere because it didn't mean anything, because he was just fucking rambling like the Ultimate Warrior, but quiet. If you slow down what Warrior's saying and you start really hearing the words, you go, what? Why was I hyped about this, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, those are the best.
So good. But this one felt like there's a story and a direction. This one felt like, oh, he's trying to get into the mentality of why he is so weird. He's always been this way. He was raised this way. He wasn't raised typical, so he's not typical. He's not just some goth kid who was listening to Nine Inch Nails to defy his mom. He's a kid who was raised by demons to become a dragon, effectively. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Darby Allin, pissed. Because he goes, fuck, I could have said that. I could have been a dragon.
Damn it. I could have read story time.
Yeah, I could have been a fucking dragon, man. Oh, Kuro's right. I did say that. But I feel slightly malnourished and overdrunk, so there's going to be a lot of mispronunciations, I feel. So, but I liked it because of that. I felt like there was a direction. I felt like I could see an overall, I mean, for one, I could tell the story. I could be like, oh, this is what he's saying. Where before I was like, what the fuck is he doing, and why is he hiding reading limericks in a closet?
Yeah.
But also...
Closet.
Yeah. A closet. The fact he dropped that, I'm glad about. The fact he's not wearing an eye patch anymore, I'm happy with.
Yeah.
I feel like everything he's been trying has been so fucking weird. I haven't been even into it. And to be honest, everyone wants to say, oh, the fucking main roster ruins people. His shit was whacking out in NXT too. He just had good matches, and no one gives a shit about your story in NXT. They just wanted good matches, especially during that time frame. Yeah. That was the era of Johnny Gargano versus Ciampa, where they're just going to go out there for 45 minutes and have a match. No one gave a shit about the story or the characters. They didn't. They'll all tell you they were great, but realistically, go back and look at those characters. They're all goofy, silly, dumb. They were fucking pointless. Aleister Black made no fucking sense there. Ricochet made some sense. A lot of their people they don't even let talk before they bring them to the main roster. There's no question to me why there's growing pains when they get to the main roster. And Aleister Black is 100% an example of that. His character didn't make sense in NXT. He didn't get to do anything except exactly what he wanted. He was kind of creepy. The NXT fans ate it up, but there was no why, no reason, no ability to become connected to the character other than he had a good kick. No one on the main roster gives a shit about that. What are you going to say, Kev?
I was just wondering if the dragon that Black was referring to is a bad dragon.
A bad dragon? Talking about heroin?
Yeah. Huh?
Heroin? Chasing
no,
the dragon?
I was talking about the official sponsor.
Oh, Bad Dragon. Yeah. Let's put out our official pin. I got him. Here we go. I got a Bad Dragon sticker. BadDragon.com for anybody interested. Sponsor's not sponsor.
That's Clump Spot.
Yeah, here we go. Here's the well, I thought this was thought it was something else for a long time. Oh, let me put Sting away. Put that back out. There you go. Bad Dragon. Absolutely. There you go.
Yeah.
Just in time is gonna be all like, hey,
tentacle.
Yeah. I thought it was like a tail. It's not.
Yeah.
But just in time is gonna be like, I'm totally not coming on the show anymore. He goes, I Googled it on the internet. As described. Let's see. He says, thank God no more Pirate Captain Black. Yeah, no Captain Black. No.
Yeah.
Pick a fight with me. Fucking hated that shit, man. Just fucking talk. Just be creepy. And this is like him just doing that. And I thought that's what I liked about it the most. This feels like a comfortable Aleister Black with a character we can get behind. Oh, I get it. You're not Darby Allin. You're actually cool. Fuck you, dude. Darby Allin's super cool. He skateboards. I get it. Super cool. Anything else you want to say about Aleister Black? I know you haven't seen much of the Xia Li stuff, and it's a shame. I'm going to see if I can find a bunch of the YouTube clips and just send you a bunch so you can kind of get an idea of what's happening in NXT that I think could easily get connected with Aleister Black.
For sure.
Carol's like, when are we talking about Impact? Fuck, dude, that's Thursdays. You know that. Don't bring up that garbage on Tuesdays.
I don't got time for that.
Yeah, fuck. You think Kevlar's watching 1 second of Impact? Although I should send you that GIF, dude. Matt Cardona busted his knee real bad. Such a shame.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So
like
we did have... It was bad. Let's see. So we did have a segment in the back with the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, Dolph Ziggler, Robert Roode, catching up with Kyla Braxton and the Street Profits. They were talking mad shit back and forth. But of course, I was like, this is hysterical now. When Bayley just comes in out of nowhere for no fucking reason. Other than I think they just wanted to get a couple segments done all at once. And so she's all, hey, and scoots between us like, break it up, everyone go your separate ways. And then she cuts a promo to Kayla about Bianca. And I actually did really enjoy this bit with Montez Ford walking back into frame with his phone out, and he's all like, hey, I just want you to know Bayley's talking about you. She's like over here, or the way he says it is like, Bayley's over here and she's really got your name in her mouth a lot.
Yeah.
And Bianca goes, what? Who's like, Bayley? She's like, Bayley? He goes, yeah, you know Bayley, as in Bayley? And I was like, that made me laugh, because I was like, the idea that her name might be Bayley reminded me of Scrubs, when the main doctor, or the chief of medicine, thought Turk's last name was Turkleton. His last name is Turk, so he thought his name was Turkleton. And it cracked me up when that revelation came to be. So the idea that Bayley could be her name made me laugh. But I did like all that. Bianca says she's going to come over there. I thought that was a really interesting way to break a promo up into two separate segments.
Yeah, I thought it was cool, because that was one of the first things I noticed when Montez came back. I was like, all right, he's got his phone. And then I noticed that it was actually on.
Mm-hmm.
Normally you just see a black screen.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit, he's in a call,
Yeah.
And then for it to come out like that, I thought it was really cool.
Yeah. And you can even see when she first starts to talk, you can see him turn the volume up on it. You see a little bar go up, and I was like, that's really cool that they just fucking legit did it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I loved it. I mean, the Street Profits and the Dirty Dogs was, it's whatever.
Yeah. It was okay.
It's coming to what we think, just them versus Dirty Dogs for the championship.
Yeah.
But, like you said, for Bayley to come break it up and then Montez to come back, it seems like we're getting Bayley versus Bianca, which will be real good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they already announced the match. That was the whole point, is that, like, before the show, I got an email that says, here's what you can expect on SmackDown. And it said something along the lines of, who's going to step up to Roman Reigns and be his next contender? And then there was another spot about, what match was it? It was...
The IC?
No, it wasn't. Actually, it was Tamina and Nia. Like, Tamina and Nia face off again. And then it said, and... Bianca versus Bayley, and then I was all like, oh shit, they're having another match this week, and it said at WrestleMania Backlash, and I was like, wait, you just emailed me that you're gonna do this match? It's like, that shit hasn't even come out. And then all of a sudden it hit Twitter. Then that's what Bayley's promo was like, I'm gonna go out there and beat the shit out of Bianca. A lot of B's. I'm gonna beat the shit. Bianca's gonna catch an ass whooping, a la Bishop from Terrible Wrestling Takes. About to catch an ass whooping, a la Bayley, at a la WrestleMania, la Backlash, la. Is that how you
got
say
lost
it?
there?
No, isn't that like fruit juice? Am I not supposed to have that? So yeah, they just threw that match together out of nowhere. It was in an email, then suddenly kind of goes out. The one thing I did note from it is with everyone always talking about ratings and stuff, and we just kind of go shake our head, say, okay, sounds good to me. One of the things I have noticed and paid attention to a little bit, just because you see it so much, and I'm part of the old Bayley fandom online, Bayley segments are always very, very high rated. And matter of fact, I think during the empty arena stuff, the highest rated segments on any wrestling show were Bayley and Sasha segments. So the idea that Bayley would be a draw or something that people want to see more of and are huge reaction at Mania, how cool is it that they have her start a promo and then cut to commercial and say, when we come back, the rest of Bayley's promo. I knew I wasn't going to change the channel. You know what I mean? Where if I thought that was the end of Bayley's promo, I might go, you know what, this might be a good bathroom break. I might be able to use this commercial break to hit the bathroom, because if I run long and it comes back, at least I know I'm not going to miss Bayley. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was like super smart. And then yeah, Bianca's there. Bayley did such a good job cutting a total babyface promo on Bianca. I'm just so proud of you. I'm so excited. I'm so honored. All this stuff. And then Bianca's like, that's weird. She never said anything like that before. Bianca told her whole story with her face, which was great.
Mm-hmm.
And then Bayley goes, wait, one more thing. And then starts laughing maniacally and walks off. I was like, so good. What a jerk. Just good stuff. I liked all that segment. I thought Bianca's looking good. Although, again, it's another week. Ever since WrestleMania, dude, we have not been seeing champions on TV. Roman showed up for all of 3 seconds this episode. Bianca showed up for all of 3 seconds. Their tag title holder showed up for 3 seconds. We're not even building number one contenders in the overt fashion. We're not saying, like, I think, yeah. Go ahead, say what you're going to say because you're going to prove me wrong. But they're not building number one contenders is my statement. So what do you say to that?
Well, yeah, I was just going to say, you know, Apollo and KO had a match. Big E, you know, is now the number one contender.
Yeah, they're not like doing traditional number one contender matches. They're not doing like, hey, whoever wins this one gets a shot at the title. They're just literally having matches with a bunch of people who have nothing going on to try to establish them, which I think A is interesting, but B also has been making this season right after WrestleMania seem a little flatter than I think normal. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, yeah. And one of the things that, you know, going to Bianca and Bayley is it was weird everything that they put into Sasha and how she's, you know, the veteran and Bianca's the rookie and, you know, a little bit of hazing there before their match. And Sasha lost and now she's just gone.
Yeah.
You know, unless that's going to be her shtick that every time she loses at WrestleMania, she's gone for 3 months or 6 months.
I mean, yeah, I mean, during the pandemic, her and Bayley were really hitting every show real hard. So it wouldn't be a total shock if it's all like, hey, I'm going to take just a month or two or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely think she deserves a break. You know, like you said, during the pandemic, her and Bayley were every show, you know, NXT and yeah. But I just think it's weird for all the backlash stuff, you know, like you said, a lot of times with backlash, it's to finish up the loose ends and finish storylines and stuff like that. And with this, you know, you would think the traditional character of of Sasha would be like, hey, you got lucky, you know, you can't beat me twice type of thing. And she's just gone.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. Let me see. I'm trying to see. The only thing I have left on my notes here, and I was like, did I miss the fucking main event? Is the Alpha Academy against the Mysterios. You want to talk about that? Or
yeah.
There was a promo at the end of the show. I remember that. Okay, yeah. So
yeah. It was the answer.
Yeah.
Or the response.
The answer segment. So go ahead. We had Alpha Academy against the Mysterios, and Mysterios got the win on that one. I'm loving their chemistry in the ring. All four of these guys.
They work really well together.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been great. It's been fantastic. It was just another good match. I like what they're doing with it. I think that the only thing that's a total bummer to me is that we're getting like some legit tag teams built up here with the Alpha Academy, which is kind of ironic because they're just all like, hey, Tucker's got to go. And then they really like Tucker's got to go. And they're like, Otis is just better as a tag. Let's go ahead and put him with Chad Gable because he's better as a tag and see what it is. And actually, as much as I liked Heavy Machinery, I definitely see like something special with Chad and Otis.
Yeah.
And I also... Go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's the Olympians in them.
Yeah. And then I think that this is amazing for Dominic to be in the ring with the people he's been in the ring with. Such high level people. The other thing I was gonna say just seems kind of like a bummer is that you have the Dirty Dogs who have defended the titles a couple times here and there, but we also don't see them much. But we're starting to see like a strong tag team division sort of build itself.
Yes.
I'm liking that. I am liking that because I do think that heel champions should try to avoid defending it at all costs. As much as people want them out there to cheat to win every week, I'd rather see them try to avoid the match altogether.
Oh yeah, like you said, weasel themselves out of the matches, like, oh no, we're not ready, type of thing. And yeah, I'm for it. I definitely want to see. It just sucks because now, like you said, now that they're building up their tag team division, like I just don't want to see the Street Profits there. It's like, we've done this. Let's try something a little different.
Yeah, or at least put Street Profits in more matches. So kind of, I mean, their last match I remember liking, but let's see, the show did end with Roman Reigns coming out to put his challenge together, because that was the whole thing, is he can accept Cesaro's challenge. And he comes out, talks some shit to Cesaro, and says, I go around making the challenges around here. And then he challenged Daniel Bryan. So Daniel Bryan, I choose you.
Ralph Wiggum style.
Ralph Wiggum style AF. And then he said, but the thing is, if you lose, then fuck you, dude. Fuck you, dude. You can't be around on SmackDown no more. Cesaro said, well, you got to do it, Daniel. And Daniel Bryan's like, I don't know, Cesaro. I just think you're the finest. Cesaro's like, but you got to, pal. So Daniel Bryan said he would. What do you think of all of that, Kev?
Well, the stipulation was put after he accepted, right?
It was like as he was accepting it. Like he was like saying yes, and then Roman's all like, if you finish that fucking word, just know this, and he threw that in there.
Yeah.
What do you think of it? Do you think that means that Daniel Bryan goes to Raw? The new kayfabe stuff is Daniel Bryan's been vocal about potentially wanting to help out smaller industries and to be coaching other places and have a lighter schedule, and he may or may not re-sign with WWE. I think a lot of that's a bunch of bullshit. But what do you think, Kev?
I mean, I'm taking it in two different ways here. The first, I think it'd be great if this is just a big swerve by WWE. Not one of those, oh, Daniel Bryan, like you said, he wants to go to the independents, he wants to help, does this, he wants to do this. Oh, he's going to lose, he's going to go to Raw. Like, how big would it be if Daniel Bryan wins? Like, no one would see that coming right now.
Yeah, and it wouldn't damage Roman one fucking bit.
Yeah, I mean, he already tapped out to him, so if he actually beat him, holy shit! Like that'd be,
yeah.
I think that'd be great. I think that'd be a big swerve, and because, like I said, everyone is just okay. He's gonna go do Raw, or like you said, all those other rumors and stuff like that. I think it'd be great if that happened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of people are trying to talk about what happens to Daniel Bryan when he loses, but I think I was thinking the same thing. This would be a great time to strap that on Daniel Bryan, because Daniel Bryan's always a believable champion. He did tap out Roman Reigns, this iteration of Roman Reigns. People were rooting for Daniel Bryan when Roman was winning stuff, and it's part of the reason that Roman got so much heat to begin with. So the fans would just eat it up, and it's not going to damage Roman one fucking bit if Cesaro gets involved, prevents Jay from getting involved. I don't know who else could possibly show up, but somebody probably could. But you get a few people involved. I mean, Jimmy, but somebody else on Daniel Bryan's side. I mean,
Oh yeah.
And you have fucking Bray Wyatt come back. Actually,
Kane.
Yeah. You actually could have Bray Wyatt come back, and he could cost Roman the match, because Bray has beef with Roman Reigns.
Mm-hmm.
You could even have Lily and Alexa cost Roman the match.
No.
I know that they're separate, but the last time that Alexa and Roman were near each other was right when Alexa was becoming crazy. And remember, Roman comes out. She stopped and stared at Roman and gave him the nastiest glare. And she was just cutting a promo this week. We didn't talk about it much, but she cut a promo this week that was all about how Lily's restless. She's trying to play prank. She's getting tired of stuff. And, hey, Lily made me do
We're
it.
not there yet.
What do you mean? Is that on Raw?
It's on Raw. Yeah.
I don't fucking know what show I'm watching anymore, dude. But you said all that shit. You could have her cost Roman the match. You could have Bray cost Roman the match. They don't both have to end up on the same show or not. And what is Roman going to do if Lily costs him the match? If Lily and Alexa do? Is he going to go after Alexa? No, he's going to say, well, fuck. You know what I mean? And he's got to move on. He just moves forward with it because he can't just try and beat up Alexa. It's just not going to fly. He's not Randy Orton. He can't set Alexa on fire and be fine like Randy Orton does.
She's the one that has the fireball.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, like, you could do that. You could have someone get involved that actually pushes Roman into a whole other story.
Yeah.
I don't know. See, the chat was talking about some of that Mark Carano stuff going on. Yeah, we talked about it before, and I don't know. I don't know much about Mark Carano enough to, I think, to provide dialogue on it much more than we already said, just because I've heard so many random things here and there about the guy that it's like, I just don't know.
Yeah, we're not insiders, and we definitely don't claim to be. So.
Yeah, and I don't talk shit on things I just don't feel confident talking shit on it. Like, I can talk shit on something I don't like because I'm watching it and I don't like it. But I can't talk shit about how a person is backstage. I don't fucking know how they are backstage. So, but I think you're right on that one. I think that Dana Bryan has to win this match, make everyone go, what the fuck, what? And if you have someone like a Bray Wyatt get involved to fuck with Roman, because he's like, Roman, I'm coming for you now, dog. You'd have a whole bunch of people being like, see, this is bullshit. AEW, AEW. And I love when that happens on the internet, because it just means they're mad that their fucking show didn't think of it first. But I think that's it, man. I think it's it for SmackDown. You got anything else?
Yeah. Nope.
For SmackDown. Choo choo. They totally dropped the train, dude. They've definitely dropped the train on Braun, and I love it.
I think I'm the only one who really does want to see. Somehow, I want to see Braun, Elias, and Riker together.
Yeah.
We're still not on Raw yet.
We're not on Raw yet.
Oh, that's right. Sorry.
I don't know
All
why she
right,
did
Mom. There we go.
I don't know why she did that,
Goodness
man.
gracious.
Yeah, well, let's talk Raw. Spoiler alert, let's talk Raw.
Spoiler. Spoiler. Braun doesn't have the choo-choo sound effects.
Yeah. They've not done the Braun Choo Choo Express in some time, but the show did open up with Braun Strowman against Mace and T-Bar, which then turned into Mace and T-Bar against Braun Strowman and Drew McIntyre, which later then turned into Braun versus Drew. For fuck's sake, man.
Yeah.
Why do we got to do so much of them? And that's not even like, it's not like they just had those 3 matches. Everybody involved in there had, except for Mason T-Bar, they only had one little promo, but Braun and Drew and MVP all had multiple backstage segments.
Yeah.
Like, at least half of this show was just these guys. I just don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't get it how you don't use a Bray Wyatt, how you're not using half of the women's roster in general.
Yeah.
We haven't seen AJ and Omos at all since WrestleMania. But you have an hour and a half to talk strictly about Braun and Drew? Like, you think I give that many shits about Drew McIntyre? But let's get into it. Mason T-Bar did walk down to the ring, and as they were walking out of the ring, they did show a little backstage promo, which I actually thought was pretty solid. They did a pretty good job with what they're given. I'm
Yeah,
excited
I
to
like
see what
it.
happens on the other side of this Mason T-bar. But I like this little progression
Yeah.
we're seeing. What do you think, Kev?
Yeah, and I like that they didn't bring back their masks. Hey, this is us. The whole name thing I thought was maybe a little weird because the whole point with the bad names and the bad masks were for people not to, get behind them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
whatever Ali said.
Yeah.
But, I thought it was cool. A little bit of face paint. All right, like you said, let's see where this is going.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Hopefully it's not just a big man jobber role for them.
Yeah, 100%. I agree, and that's my concern right now is I think they're utilizing them just as like side pieces for this Braun and Drew thing. So then it cuts to Braun backstage with Drew, and Braun's all like, "Look, you big dummy. If you just listen to me, we could have beat them last week. Why don't you shut up and listen to me? I'm a former Universal Champion." And then you had Braun get all fucking heel on him. I'm telling you, not Braun, Drew. Drew is a goddamn heel.
Oh, 100%.
And this was even more obvious this time because he goes, oh, here you go. Okay. And then he says, "I'm sorry, but I think," he says, 20 years experience. He's now at 20 years. When he started, go back and watch the Rumble when he wins. They talk about his, I believe it started with 10 years. It was 10 years since he was crowned the Chosen One. And so they said it was taking him 10 years to get here. And then a little bit down the line, they're like, "Oh, it was 15 years when he was going for the championship." Then he gets in a program with Bobby Lashley, and now it's 17 years. And now that he's in a program with Braun Strowman.
Bobby is 16, so now Drew has to be 17.
Yeah, so now Drew's 17. Because, Bobby's 16, and it's well documented where Drew could have been on the Indies for however many long. It doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, I'm sorry. You can't compare Drew's career path with Bobby Lashley's and take them equally serious. Bobby Lashley never got complacent, never stopped working his ass off, didn't get bitchy about things he didn't like, and there's really easy to see like 4 or 5 year time frame when Drew McIntyre was just not giving a shit. His body was going to hell. He wasn't trying much at all in the ring. He obviously became a comedy act and was probably upset by that. And I'm not saying that's not justified, but he gave the fuck up. He said, whatever. Forget it. This is what I do now. Bobby Lashley never did that. He never had that. So when Drew's like, "I've been working, grinding for 20 years. The fuck you have? We watched you not for 6. You know? I don't know.
Yeah.
Just some bullshit. Drew and Charlotte are 2 in my face. I'm so tired of both, Faptina says. I agree. Kuro says Bobby Lashley was never handpicked by Vince. Yeah. That's true. Handpicked by Vince. And then you stopped working because you were handpicked. Bobby Lashley's been proving himself every fucking night. He looks better every day. And has for the entirety of his life. Like, Jesus, dude. Most people, I mean, even The Rock has a cheat day.
Yeah. But Bobby even had an MMA career.
Yes. To keep himself sharp when his wrestling career he thought was gonna dwindle, and plus he wanted to try something new. Like, yeah, all of it. And then he was trying to get back in the WWE. Drew was just all like, "Fuck it, I guess I'll go back to the Indies and just do what was easy to begin with." You know what I mean? I don't know. It's just, I just don't think this comparison, and I don't even want to read his fucking book. Not for one fucking second do I want to read a single page of Drew McIntyre's fucking book about how amazing it is to be a champion.
Has anyone else done that during an active time?
I don't know anybody who wrote a book about being the champion while they were champion. And if anyone did that, they'd got booed the fuck out the building. Charlotte did that.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, that's why there's
Yep.
similar.
She wrote one called Second Nature. while she was a champion about how amazing she is as a champion. Yeah. About how it's all been easier for her and harder for her because she's a Flair, so it makes things as equally hard as easy, and it's get out of here, god damn it. But
I wonder if anyone's actually read either book. I would love if
I
they're
almost
just like the
got
same
Charlotte's.
exact book.
yeah, I almost got it once, so I was like, this could be interesting, seeing how it was with her and her dad and stuff. But then I was like, there's no fucking way I'm reading that. But so there's this promo now where Drew's now at 20 years. In the last year alone, he's gone from 15 to 20 years of experience. This guy's amazing at just his ability to write books about himself and become smarter.
Mm-hmm.
So Braun says, why don't you go fuck yourself? And then Drew says, don't mind if I do. And he walks out. Braun goes out there, gets a handicap match with Mace versus T-Bar. Do they still call it a handicap match? They don't. What do they call it? A 2-on-1 match.
Yeah.
Right?
I thought it was handicap 2-on-1.
Do they?
Yeah, that's all.
All right. Well, it was a handicap match. And then partway through it, Mace and T-Bar get themselves disqualified because they're just beating the shit out of Braun in the corner. So then Drew comes out to save the day, and then they fucking lose the match again. And then Drew McIntyre goes back to Adam Pearce like a dick and says, I want Braun tonight or else. And Pearce is just like, okay, I guess. And then Drew goes, fine. And then walks out. You're like, what the fuck was that?
That's the most annoying bit to me, that I feel like Charlotte and Drew are the only ones that can just tell Adam Pearce what they want, and it just happens. It's just like, okay, here you go.
Yeah.
Not even a fight, not even nothing. So it doesn't make sense to me.
It's true, because even Roman gets a load of pushback from Adam Pearce. Sonya's the one who keeps telling Adam Pearce, no, I'm going to give Roman what he wants. But Drew, whatever you want, pal. Drew McIntyre? Yeah. Did you notice during this match, Kev? I was watching this match.
Which one?
Drew. That doesn't matter.
One?
Drew, any Drew in match. The way he runs. Did you notice the way he runs?
A little bit.
It's these little, feet together, butt clenched, kind of trying not to fart, kind of wobble. Did you notice that?
I have not noticed that.
Watch it.
Because he's McIntyre.
McIntyre is definitely afraid of actually slipping out a massive fart, and everyone is being like, oh. Go watch the first one with Braun and Drew against Mason T-Bar. Mm-hmm. I think it was even in Braun and Drew in general. Watch him running back and forth. Actually, no, watch when he runs out to help Braun. The way he runs back and forth is these really weird, close together things. I was like, is he like duck walking right now? This guy just...
Yeah.
He's the favorite number 2.
Yeah.
No, I know exactly what you're talking about now. Because I was watching it and I almost was thinking like he's afraid to fall.
Yes. Yes. Where you see the potential to fall, I see the potential to fart.
Yeah, he doesn't want to pull an Andy.
Yep.
Titus.
Mm-hmm.
What was that?
I was drinking. But I don't know why this whole show's got to be about Drew McIntyre, but I wasn't feeling it. But I did like Mason T-Bar getting the win again, so it's another one of these things where it's all like, hey, they are a better tag team. This is one of those instances where they are building a tag team here, because here it is, two dudes who've literally been tagging since early days of NXT, like 5 years ago, doing well as a tag team against two dudes who are arguing and bickering with each other and trying to see who can fart the smelliest. And they're not, their egos are so big that it's in the way of them actually defeating a decent tag team, which is what we've always said we wanted tag teams to be doing to begin with. Remember all the times we'd get mad when they would throw on two random people against like the Usos and just beat the shit out of the Usos, and you're like, are you fucking kidding me? They're twins.
Yeah.
Like,
when do you think they're going to come out with the Raw is McIntyre shirts?
I don't know. It might. Monday night McIntyre.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. But let's see. We'll just run through the rest of their stuff. So they had like several promos in the back. I did think Braun was doing better on the mic in general. I liked his back and forth with MVP. Then when he told MVP to just shut the fuck up, because if Booby Lashley wants to talk to me, he come talk to me. Like, I loved all that.
Yeah, I liked it too. I think Braun's actually stepping his game up in the middle of all this trash.
Yeah.
And I still want to see him with Elias and Riker.
She wants to see him with Rice and Riker and Elias, dude.
Well, they all got beards.
So they're gonna be Duck Dynasty?
I was not thinking that, but okay.
See, I would actually like Braun with Mason Keyboard.
It works because he wears the green.
He's got to lose those gloves, though. The garden gloves are too much.
He's got his duck hunting gloves. He's got his green camo shirt. He's fucking ready.
Yeah, they're his train conductor gloves.
Little fucking duck whistle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think. I don't know. I'll tell you. If they ever get together, fine. But as far as this program goes, I do think that they're getting Braun to a place where he's believably in the conversation for world title. And so often we see him thrown in the conversation for world title because of his size, but he'll go on these massive losing streaks and look stupid. In this one, I mean, his last program, they literally called him stupid for months, but
well, Drew was doing that this week.
Drew was too. Yeah, Drew's like, you really are stupid. And then Corey's like, I don't think it's very smart of Braun. I was like, fuck.
Yeah. Yeah, for Drew to be the face, he literally said, I'm going to tell you so you understand it. 1 + 1 is 2.
Yeah.
I forgot what he said after that, but yeah.
Oh, yeah. He's such a dick, dude. And he's doing the same shit that Shane was doing, and Shane was the one who needed his ass whooped. I don't understand what Drew thinks he's doing with all that, to be quite honest. I'm going to get your take on this because we're already on topic and I've had a whiskey. Kev?
Do what? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I want your take on this one. Because we're already talking about it. I was going to get ready to move on, but let's do it. There's been some narrative out there that Drew is losing some steam and that he needs to be like revitalized. We need the crowd to get back behind him because right now it doesn't feel like the crowd needs to be behind him. And one of the things I heard that said that was said, this is of no fault to the performer whatsoever. It's just the stories and the creative he's been given. And I feel like we get that a lot. We hear that a lot. And at what point do we say it's the performer?
Yeah, that's a cop-out. It's an easy scapegoat.
I think it's an easy way to show respect for somebody you think is doing a bad job.
Yeah.
Right?
Instead of just straight shitting on them and saying, stop, you suck.
Right.
It's creative.
Yeah. It's such a cop-out sometimes because I do think that there's a distinction, right? I think there are times where you get somebody who's in a creative position that you go, yeah, what are you supposed to do with that? You know what I mean? Like Natty having a whole storyline about her farting. What is she supposed to do with that? You know what I mean? How is she supposed to look there? Sami and Bobby Lashley's storyline together. What are they supposed to do? You know what I mean? Like, there's sometimes creative really doesn't give you much of a thing. But what you do, like Bobby and Sami did, is you make the absolute fucking most of it. And a lot of people said, this is shitty. They said, but Sami and Bobby did a really good job. We're not saying Drew's doing a great job. We're saying, like, Drew's misrepresenting his own character at this point. He's supposed to be a super babyface, and he's coming off as a dick.
100%. And this is where I think my biggest problem with Drew is. And it goes in line with this cop-out where a lot of people, that we've heard hindsight, behind the stage or behind the scenes stuff that, they approached Vince and said, hey, my character should be more like this. Or, went to creative and said, hey, I think my character is better like this. And it's because as a professional, they, you know, are their character. They live their character and say, hey, you know, they see the wrestling world through their character's eyes and say, hey, you know, we should do this or whatever. And to me, if that's the case, then Drew's just an asshole as a person. But if it's not, and he's doing what creative's telling him, he needs to step up and say, hey, you know, I think my character would be better if he did this. You know, or
this isn't a dickish
doesn't
thing
do
to say?
that. Yeah.
But the other thing that I've heard in a number of interviews with, I believe, X-Pac, Road Dogg, Xavier Woods, I think all the New Day on their podcast have talked about it, Kevin Owens, Daniel Bryan, they've all said it. They're not scripted. They've all talked about getting to a point where you prove to them that you don't need to be scripted, and then you do get the bullet point things. So
Yeah.
getting off script is once you've proven yourself. I do think this change of super babyface Drew, which we thought was sort of annoying, but you know, he is what he is, that's fine, to pretty dickish Drew, I think is the unscripted Drew. This is just how I talk as a wrestler. This is just my character. And I think, like, you're right, that he's supposed to be this big babyface. He doesn't know how to do that because he's kind of a dick. And his character's coming off dickish, and I think that's what's making him lose steam with the audience. They see him treating the rest of the locker room like shit. Bobby Lashley puts a bounty on Drew's head, and what does Drew do? He goes into the babyface locker room and calls them all pussies and pushes them around.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? You just take my favorite wrestler and threw him into a couch? You found the smallest guy in there and said, let's go one-on-one? What the fuck?
I was going to say, he not only went into the babyface locker room, he went into the 205 babyface locker room.
Yeah, because they show him sitting on a crate and he just goes, "That's it, damn it, I'm tired of this," and goes storms in, storms in there, and like you said, he's like, "Bring me the smallest group of them all. Where's 205 Live film? I'm here for. I'm gonna stand up to myself once and for all." What the fuck? But I think that's what it is. I think that his character's losing steam because I think it's him. I don't think it's the fault of creative. I think creative's doing everything they can to keep him a babyface by having him get all these wins, having his stuff be clean, giving him those definitive victories, constantly putting him against people that you're supposed to pretty much boo. But the problem is he's not as likable off script as everyone else is. You know what I mean? Braun and Bobby Lashley are more likable because of the stuff he's saying. And I don't believe he's scripted. And I think people who think everyone's scripted is just missing the boat too. I think they listened to a couple of heated interviews from guys like Moxley, who, by the way, when you listen to his promos when he first got to AEW, were shitty and goofy. And he had stupid jokes, and it was terrible. And he got to a place where they became good. He got better in AEW because he was just decided not to be like everyone else telling their own dumb fart jokes. We're really good at fart jokes on this show, by the way.
I was going to say, I like fart jokes.
Yeah, no, they're good. But everyone's out there doing that. So he had to do something to set himself apart. He had to do something different. But I wouldn't be surprised 1 second if his complaint about being scripted is the fact that every time he said he wanted to do something else or say something else, they went, "That's terrible. You can't do that. Stay to the script." Where Xavier Woods tells a story about telling Vince. It was about when they were trying to turn them heel, I think. Or it might have been trying to turn babyface. It was one of their big turns. And I think it was heel. I think it was the initial heel run because their first run was supposed to be baby faces. And Woods told them, "Let us turn heel. We can do this. The crowd's starting to teeter already. We can push them over the edge." And Vince said something like, "There's no way you could ever get them to boo you like that." And Wood said, "If I can't go out there and get them all to boo me by the time I come back, then you can fire me. This is my job. I can do this." And Vince said, "You better do it then." Fucking sent him out there. They did the thing. He came back. He said he's never seen the script again. Like, you prove yourself, and Vince apparently doesn't give a shit after that. You know what I mean? He's like, okay, you're fine. Daniel Bryan, Kevin Owens, all the same. So I think some people had beefs because they could never get themselves off the scripts because they could never prove themselves the same way. I think the same way we saw Braun Strowman really struggle, I think we're only now starting to see him teeter with it. I think he's still given pretty much a script. He's just doing better with him, to be honest.
Yeah.
But all that to say, Drew's not likable, dude, in this iteration of him, and I don't think that it's fair to blame creative on that one. I don't think he's scripted at all.
To me, he hasn't been likable in a long time either. It's not like a new revelation that, oh, he's losing some steam. He's not likable. Like, when he won the Rumble, I was like, cool, let's do it. I wanted him to win.
Yeah.
You know, and then right after that, I was like, all right, I was wrong. Give me my shot of Old Crow because I do not want him to win anymore.
Yeah, dude, we were saying it really early on that we wanted him to win the Rumble, that we wanted him to... Why is he not in the title picture? The WrestleMania before then, we're like, why is he just in some weird program with Roman? This guy should be going for titles and stuff. And then once he got towards that picture, all of his stuff after the Rumble started getting real fucking heelish. I was like, this guy's pretty fucking entitled. This guy seems real fucking dickish. That it was easy to turn against him. So I agree. I think that it's been a long time coming, but I've had a few people go, oh my God, Drew's starting to get kind of unlikable. And I was like, oof, wait till you listen to episode 1 on our show. We'll tell you about how unlikable he's been for a really long time.
Yeah, we jumped off the Drew ship shortly after it left port.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. And the thing is, I do think he's good in the ring. As a matter of fact, I thought that his match with Braun was great. At the end of the show, it was a fantastic match. And how great did it put over the power slam?
Yeah.
When was the last time Braun was able to put away somebody with one power slam?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Who wasn't a jobber?
I thought it was a good match. I'm not saying anything against Drew's, physical abilities, obviously. I think he's a great performer in the ring. Mm-hmm. It's just, his character. And maybe that's where people get confused. Where, it's his character that I'm not liking. His matches are good. It's creative.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that for sure. I could see there definitely being a disconnect where people think, well, match is wrestler and dialogue is creative. So therefore, if I'm not behind him anymore, it must be creative.
Yeah.
I don't know. Kind of goes back to the whole Andrade thing. But I thought the Braun and Drew match was fantastic. I thought it put over the power slam like crazy good. And again, I think that to lean into Drew as a heel is a good move because quite honestly, watching him lose to Bobby Lashley was so dope at Mania. Watching him lose to Braun Strowman was awesome here. I'm in for it. I'm here for it. I want to see the match because the match is good. And I start to get to a point where I'm like, fuck, he's going to win. Damn it, it's going to be Drew. And then it comes back and I get excited. It's literally doing what wrestling matches are supposed to do. Getting me through a roller coaster of emotions where I don't know who's going to win anymore. And I've got somebody I'm definitely rooting for and someone I'm definitely rooting against. He does that with all of his matches. It's fantastic. Don't expect me to cheer for him, though. I'm booing him. Booing him like crazy.
Yeah.
Let's see. Charlotte Flair. Let's get through her stuff, and then we'll talk about some other things. So Sonya Deville just goes walking through the fucking hallways. Goes and opens up some back fucking door. Fire exit, which... That was fucking weird. And I guess the whole idea is that it was meant to be... I think this is what's happening. So Sonya Deville lets in Charlotte through some weird back door. Mm-hmm. They go to the ring. Charlotte talks massive shit to the referee. Sonya basically talks also shit to the referee. The referee accepts Charlotte's stupid, emasculating apology. And then is forced to apologize to Charlotte Flair and then forced to open the ring ropes. And the whole time was just this weird display of Charlotte and Sonya just shitting all over this ref.
And to me, it just felt like he's doing this shit just to keep his job.
Yeah,
he doesn't want to get fired.
Yeah. It felt a lot like that. And it felt a lot like, what is this leading to? I'm supposed to be interested in a match with Charlotte versus Eddie? That's our big fucking match we're leading to. Why do I give a shit if she's got heat with a ref?
Yeah.
You know, what's my payoff? They've done more storytelling with Eddie and Charlotte than with Charlotte and Rhea.
Yes. Big time. But you know the thing that gets me, just to go back to the beginning real quick is I was so confused with seeing Sonya open up the back door and they're like, "Oh my god, it's Charlotte. Charlotte's here." And I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah.
I was so confused, and then it wasn't until later on in the segment that they said she's suspended. And then I'm like, well, why is she suspended? When was she suspended? And then they're like, oh, she attacked the ref and this and that. And then it's like, oh, on Talking Smack, this was revealed. And, I missed all that. I don't watch Talking Smack. And, it felt very AEW to me.
Yes. Because they didn't let it breathe. Because last week she attacked a ref. Immediately after, they put it on Twitter. And then the first time they mention it is her coming back into the arena the next week. If they had her off this week, even just 1 week, and replayed that segment of her attacking him and then showing the flashes like they do of the tweets, being like, this is what happened. Adam Pearce suspended her, this and that. Then you cut to a little segment where it's Sonya and Adam Pearce in the back, where Sonya's all like, really, Adam, you don't think it's a little harsh? And then Pearce just goes, no, I don't. And then they leave it at that. Someone else walks in.
$100,000. That's a lot,
Yeah, $100,000 is a lot.
And then,
on top of a suspension, and then have Braun walk
in
and say Braun says something to Adam Pearce. Add me to the match. Yeah,
Yeah. Well, and then to me, and that would create more divide between Sonya Deville and Adam Pearce if she was talking, had a promo with Pearce, going back and forth, like kind of defending her, and then all of a sudden she just lets him in. Because
and then she's
because the motivation of her letting her in, is obviously unclear. Hopefully it, they clear it up a little more down the road, but it didn't, like I said, I was lost and it didn't make any sense to me until they explained it. And it was already, 5 or so minutes into the promo.
Yeah, like what ticking time bomb are you running against with a 3-hour show where an hour and a half of it is Braun? Why couldn't you have Charlotte off of one episode? And I get it because there was some shit online. Charlotte, so Meltzer tried to say that Charlotte was getting dental work done and therefore it's cosmetic and all of this. And I don't know if it was here or just in a private conversation I had with somebody, but I made the joke of I hope she comes back with vampire teeth. Like the way that Meltzer was talking about how... Yeah, just like a big grill. Well, no, because, Naomi's got a grill. The grills come in and out. Like, she should, just like, she comes back with, like, braces or some sort of, like, fucking weird vampire veneers, and it's all like, oh, look, it's cosmetic. But, like, but all that stuff's bullshit, right? Because none of that shit matters. But that was the whole thing, is she had some sort of dental work she had to get done, so therefore she was suspended so she could have that done. It could have been fucking root canals. I don't know. But he immediately went to that she's insecure. And so she jumps on Twitter and says, Dave, you have my phone number. You could have called me and resolved this in 30 seconds, but instead you're giving absolute garbage to your fucking listeners. And I have to sit here and talk about my body one more time. She's like, I'm not doing it. She's like, you're pathetic.
That's what it was all about? Because I saw that, but I didn't.
Yeah.
I thought it was more so body shaming than her teeth.
But it was body shaming her because he said that they're saying it's dental work, but who knows? And was saying that it was cosmetic. So it could have been, it might be dental work, it might not be. Like, you just didn't know. And is she going to come back looking different? And she looks different already, but she's also leaned up a lot. And people look different when they lose weight. Like, it's not to say she was ever big, but, she's a lot leaner than she was a year ago. She's always been ripped.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
So it's just like, you just don't fucking know, man. So all that stuff, part of me wonders if they shotgun this, because I wonder if Charlotte was like, I can't be off TV now. It was a simple thing and I was just going to take a week off, but now it's going to look like this and I'm just going to be eyeballing my fucking nose. They're going to be looking at my ears. They're going to be looking at my cheeks, trying to see where I got work done. You know what I mean? And so I wonder if that's part of it, because I do agree that I think that the entirety of it was shotgun, that she should have been off TV for 1 week. That's it. If you're going to have this fake suspension, let it be 1 week so you can at least recount the suspension and show a tension between Adam and Sonya not agreeing on it. And then next week, when she sneaks Charlotte through the back, you go, oh my God, Sonya's sneaking in Charlotte. But this time, it started with her sneaking her in, and you go, oh, that's a weird way to get into the building. And then you have the whole promo thing.
Well, they, to me, even if they shotgun it, even separate it. Early on, have Sonya and, like you said, show a little vignette of what Charlotte did. Have, Sonya and Pierce do their thing earlier in the episode, and then later in the episode, you could even have Sonya making a phone call, and then later she walks back and opens the back door and like, all right, I'm glad you came. We're gonna go resolve this or something. Yeah,
100%. Like,
but
you've got 3 hours. You can break this one up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But this one was really weirdly shotgunned and stuff. Like, and then it leads to Adam Pearce and Sonya in the back, and Adam Pearce is like, what the fuck is this? This bunch of bullshit. Fuck this shit. And then storms off, and Charlotte and Sonya are like, what ifs? So now it's like, so what? You're building tension between Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville? Is that match going to happen? Why are we spending this much time building tension between Sonya and Adam and tension between Charlotte and Eddie?
Yeah.
You literally had an entire match of Charlotte versus Mandy about Charlotte and Eddie. The whole match was about the ref.
Yeah.
If you're Mandy, how shitty do you feel right now being used this way? You're
Well,
putting over a ref. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
As much as I love refs, what the fuck is that? Even on commentary, Corey says something along the lines about, like, how it's unbelievable that Mandy's doing this well. And Adnan says something like, oh, you don't think she's very good or something, kind of a deal? Because Adnan was really fucking it up this week. It was weird. But then Corey says something along the lines of, like, look, I think that she's proven herself to be quite a contender, but bottom line, she's no queen. And like, so now you just said that even some of your best are just nowhere near as good as Charlotte? Like, why do we have to push that Charlotte is the absolute greatest wrestler that's ever been? It doesn't make the rest of the team look good.
Yeah.
You just said going into this match, it's out. The match is a foregone conclusion. The whole thing's going to be about the ref anyways. Like, this felt like such a weird, shitty way to shit on Mandy Rose. And I don't know. I'm not here for that bit.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that Mandy should be main eventing WrestleMania every year, but I just don't think you need to have commentary shit on her that way.
No, and before that, it was, Mandy and Dana's involvement in the 6-woman tag. Didn't that happen first?
Yeah, that happens first. I was just running through the Charlotte stuff so we can be done with Charlotte.
Because that was the other bit, is that they did break up the Charlotte thing a little bit, but
not by much.
Correctly, yeah, but the women's 6-woman tag happened.
Yeah.
And then
Charlotte
her
wasn't
match
involved.
Yeah, but Mandy was. And then Mandy's punishment was to go up against Charlotte.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's not breaking it up by breaking up the story. That was really just breaking up the segment in half.
Yeah.
It wasn't just all done in one moment, but it was all done real close together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it was just a bummer. The whole thing was stupid. I don't know why this whole thing. And to be honest, I don't know why Eddie didn't screw her in the match. Like, when she's like yelling at him, how hard is it to count? He should have done a fast count.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you're going to play this whole thing where she's got animosity with this ref and she's going to talk shit to the ref, then also have the ref stand up for himself once in a while.
Yeah. Well, and seeing the match and seeing the way it was playing out, and it made me even more annoyed with Charlotte, is that I kept saying, oh, Mandy's going to get the win somehow. She's going to get the roll up. She's going to get the surprise or the fast count.
Because
and
Charlotte's not paying attention.
Yeah. And then for her to lose it, I was like,
yeah,
what the fuck? Like you said, like, it just made Mandy just look like garbage.
Yeah. That was absolutely the other point, was that Charlotte's not paying attention to Mandy whatsoever. She's a complete afterthought in everything that's happening in this match, and she still loses. How bad do you have to be? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it was just shitty. The other thing I was going to say, Adnan during Braun Strowman's choo-choo train thing, he said, he goes, the train's off the rails, and then he goes, we're going to need a bigger boat. And Corey Graves said, what kind of boat do you know that goes on rails, Adnan?
Yeah.
Corey Graves on week 3 has gotten to the point where he is shitting on Adnan while he talks.
Yeah.
And I wonder what that means long term. But there's a point now where Adnan says stuff, and Corey's all like, "What the fuck are you talking about? What's wrong with you?" Like, it's so good.
It almost reminds me of Coach.
Yes, it's getting there.
Like, yeah, and like I said, when I first saw Adnan, I was excited. I like his delivery. And then now it's like, all right, dude, like, you're not just making, bad, or, switching people's names or forgetting people's names or calling somebody by the wrong name. You start a new job. You have to get used to, everyone's name. That can take a while. But for this reference, I thought that was really bad. But, he's off the trains. We need a bigger boat. Like, that's bad.
Yeah, 100%. And I get it also that he's trying to make that Jaws reference. We're gonna need a bigger boat because Jaws is coming for you. But he said those two things in the same sentence, and it didn't work. Those should have been separate weeks. Save the bigger boat for next week.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Do it a different way, because the way was just fucking weird. But yeah, I don't know. I agree with you. I was super excited for Adnan. I thought his sound was so cool, and I was like, if this guy gets enough knowledge behind him, he could be big doing this. He could be big. I was like, he's got a similar sound to a young JR. I was like, he could make great calls if he just knows the business the way JR knew the business. It's slow moving, man. It's slow moving.
Yes.
He's gonna need a bigger boat.
Yeah.
But yeah, now I don't know what the fuck we're doing with Charlotte Flair, and I guess she's in a program with a referee, and I guess Sony's in a program with Adam Pearce, and I guess the Raw Tag Team Championships, we just don't have time for them.
And Rhea.
Well, Rhea came out for a little bit.
Yeah, but her and Rhea, that's I don't know.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about some of these matches then real quick. So the other things that happened on Raw was, let's see, we had the New Day and Damian Priest against Jackson Ryker, Elias, and Miz with Morrison on the outside. Dude, this whole fucking segment was so bad. The match wasn't that bad. It wasn't great. But the entire Miz TV segment, that song was going on way too long. Like, we had to have a conversation while it's on of like, do we just stop watching this? Do we just turn it off? Like, this is just going on for way long, and it's terrible. And then New Day comes out, and they're throwing tomatoes, and it's like, I guess it's funny because it's cartoonish, but also like, what? I don't need this either. It was just stupid. And the fact that, here's the other thing that got me. We're, 3 weeks removed from WrestleMania at this point? They're still talking about Bad Bunny every week?
Yeah.
Like, Miz needs a different promo. He's still cutting Bad Bunny promos.
Yeah. He needs to thank me. I could see it the week after.
Yeah.
But like you said, 3 weeks after, what are we going to get? Bad Bunny and Miz at WrestleMania and Backlash?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think it's, Bad Bunny rode off into the sunset on top of his semi-truck.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. So yeah, I didn't like any of this. It was the first time in a while that I thought Damian Priest and New Day collectively looked bad.
Yeah.
So that was a bummer. Anything else you want to say about that?
No, it was just, it was really bad, awkward. The song, I realize it's supposed to be bad.
Yeah.
But like you said, it just went on for too long.
Yeah.
It should have been interrupted like immediately.
100%. Yeah, because I even said that when we were watching and talking, like, do we just turn it off? I was like, if they had been interrupted before now, I would say that this was fine. But now it's just actually just bad. It's just bad TV for too long.
Yeah.
This is not just people who are bad at what they're doing because they're stupid or whatever. Their characters are dumb. This is just too long bad.
Yeah.
Let's see. So we did have Sheamus versus Humberto Carrillo again. Although it wasn't really a match. It was just more of another fight, right? Yeah, Sheamus to Carrillo. Oh, yeah, and this time Humberto got the edge on him and threw him over the table, and then Sheamus got mad and was throwing their chairs around. And I like it for the most part. Humberto looks great. I think him growing a beard is a fantastic choice. He's looking a little older before he looked like a teenager.
He looks
shape.
like so different.
Yeah.
Like, it's one of those where you look at someone and like, is this somebody new? Because like to me, he looks like completely different. Yeah. Like, when you watch the Fresh Prince and they change out the mom, it's like, that's somebody new, and I keep looking at him. I'm like, oh, that's him. He's got the same moveset and stuff like that, which is great. I like him, but he just looks really different. Not in a bad way either.
Yeah. But this program's another tough one for me because, like, do I really want Sheamus to lose the U.S. title to Humberto? Not really. Do I really want Humberto to come back looking great and then just lose?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I want both these guys doing well right now. So I'm a little torn on this one. I like what I'm seeing, but it's one of those ones where, like I said, with Retribution, where I'm so excited to see what happens next as they're transforming out of Retribution. This is one where it's like, I'm not excited about what's next. I'm more excited about what's happening right now because I like what I'm seeing right now, but it's also like, yeah, but then what?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Let's see. We did get Randy Orton and Matt Riddle doing a promo in the back, and then they teamed against Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander, and Riddle and Orton won. The RK Bro, as it were. I mean, it all was what it was. I wasn't as annoyed by Riddle in his backstage segment, and the match was a good match. But, what did you think of all of it?
I really liked it. I'm a big Randy fan. I like Riddle. I like the stupid humor in Riddle, and then Randy just cutting him off. Yeah. Like, I don't know what planet you're from. I'm from Earth. Shut up. That was so great to me. Yeah. I loved it.
Yeah, that was really good. That made me laugh.
What's funny is I thought when they said, hey, I pulled a few strings, we got a match. I thought it was going to be against the Viking Raiders. I thought it was going to be a setup. And then once they started announcing as hey, he's going to turn on him, look at what Randy does. I'm like, then I started questioning myself. I'm like, I don't know. And then, obviously didn't, and then they got the win and stuff. Excuse me. I like it. This is probably my favorite part of Raw.
Yeah, I can't tell you you're wrong. Yeah, probably was.
Yeah, going
through.
Yeah, I mean, outside of maybe Alexa's promo, just because I'm still curious to see where this is going.
Yeah.
But then,
And I'm still completely in love with Bobby Lashley's presentation. Him looking like $1 million, him looking like a champion, him walking around with that title. I love all of that. But he's just kind of a bystander in the story, which is a little weird. I'd like to see him do a little bit more, but at the same time, I said it before, and I'll say it with him. I do like a champion who avoids championship matches.
Yeah, because they want to hold on to the belt. They don't want, to work for it anymore. They did it.
Yeah, you did it, and now it's my thing, and you got to prove that you get it. And yeah, the idea that on any given night someone could always get lucky. I mean, with these experienced wrestlers, I mean, sort of like even Daniel Bryan said, if when Roman said he's never tapped up his whole life, he said that tells me he's never trained with legit grapplers. He goes, because every grappler is tapped out at some point. And he's like, that tells me I have an advantage. I know a lot of moves he won't know. Yeah. With a guy like a champion who doesn't want to let go of the title, doesn't want to have a match, it just says that he's got the experience of having himself snuck a victory or gotten a victory snuck on him and got an easy win one time. He goes, it can just happen. Sometimes you just get those lucky moments, and he goes, I don't want to risk that lucky moment. I like that. I think it makes the champion look smart.
Mm-hmm.
In a way. And I get it. It also makes him kind of dickish, but I'm cool with that.
No, it's strategic.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's not that fighting champion or whatever, so.
Yeah.
But even then, they can get boring. Fighting champions can get boring as fuck. So it just depends. Just depends. Let's see. I don't have anything else to say about the Orton and Riddle stuff. Just I liked it a lot better than I expected.
Yeah. No, I'm good. Like I said, I liked it. I'm waiting for an RKO or RK Bro shirt.
Yeah, they're going to do something ridiculous, like a snake with a horse head or some shit. Let's see.
No.
I'm going to breeze past this one because we already kind of talked about it, but Nia, Shayna, and Rhea against Asuka, Naomi, and Lana. This whole thing was set up just for some stupid gags. Reginald is back. He's been wearing bootleg shirts. Have you noticed that? Every week he's got a different bootleg Nia shirt that they don't sell in the shop.
Oh, really? I saw that he had one on, but I didn't pay that close attention to it.
Yeah, Reginald's walking around with bootleg shirts, and I don't fucking get it. The other thing is this whole storyline with Nia and Reginald and Angel Garza. Was it you and I who talked about it last week, or were you going on last week?
Yeah, it was.
I don't remember. Did you and I talk about the Nia Jax thing about using her the way that they're using her?
I don't remember.
My point is when you're not utilizing all the women specifically in romance angles on purpose, like you used Mandy and Otis because Otis was the joke. Is that really that fair to Otis? To be like, well, Otis never could. Well, he did, and Corey's literally laughing while he's watching. And they had a good time, I'm sure. But when you flip that around, when was the last time there's a woman on there in a romance angle? Because Carmella made it very clear she was not in a relationship with Reginald.
Yeah.
But if you're not doing that, it's because you know that objectifying the women that way is not ideal, right? But it's okay to objectify Nia because that's ridiculous, right? Like, constantly putting Nia in romance angles with Enzo and Reginald and now Angel is just circulating this stupid stigma and joke that, well, these guys are way too good looking. They would never actually be for her, so it's funny and it's cool to do that. Like, that's shitty. If you're going to do it, you got to do it with everybody.
Yeah.
But that's the underlying tone of this whole thing, is that it could never happen because look at Nia. And that's fucked up, dude. And as much as I talk shit on Nia, and I talked shit on her earlier, I don't think she deserves that for 1 second.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with that. Like, it's... I don't know. I just... Like you said, I really don't like anything about this whole segment. And to me, I don't know what it leads to. Does it lead to, a love triangle? Is Garza versus Reginald going to be a thing?
Maybe we get Reginald and Garza. Could be some good matches. I guess this is probably going to be the way that Nia and Shayna lose their titles, and they'll probably lose it. And some sort of fatal four-way, and it might go to Mandy and Dana. It might not. The whole fucking bucket of water thing is stupid. Naomi or Nia Jax doing the pratfall. I fucking hate that stuff.
Yeah. Well, I just hate that, I think you and I talked about it, that right now Mandy and Dana are looking just like Mean Girls. Yeah. Pranking the other women and stuff like that. And not even the other women, just Nia. Just picking on her. Once again, it's like, why are we doing this bullying thing when everyone's anti-bullying? And I get it. There's it's a show. It's supposed to be kind of entertaining, but, seeing Nia flop around outside on the water puddle is not entertaining to me.
Yeah, and when you use the bully angle, you have a very defined bad guy and good guy, and this one, the good guys are being the bullies, quite literally, playing pranks on the big girl, who's mean.
Yeah.
it's just weird. I just don't like the way they're poking fun at Nia right now.
Yeah.
I'm not even an Nia Jax fan, but it's just no, not at all, dude. It's a bummer. It's stupid. I don't know why they're doing it. Let's see. Yeah, because even with the, I'm just trying to see if there's anything here, but yeah, even with the bullying thing, you know that the bullies are the bad guys. That's when we're saying the bullies are the good guys.
Mm-hmm.
And we're saying how silly is it and ridiculous is it these guys are going to fight over Nia. The only thing is that, like, I guess at that point Nia has to win, right? Because all the odds are against her now.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It was all pretty dumb. Let's see. We'll wrap it up on this last little segment here. Alexa Bliss coming out on the Alexa's Playground. Bliss. We talked about it before. Bliss has got Lily there. She tells a story about how Lily's getting restless. They even do this whole, like, oh, think about it, and oh, close your eyes, get relaxed, and then the Lily doll shows up. This Lily doll is really weirdly cartoonish, more so than the puppets were in the Funhouse.
Yeah.
It's, like, really weird. So I don't know what we're getting with it at all. I think that Alexa's doing amazing. I think her facial expressions are fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where we're going yet, and I get it also. I'm okay with that to a degree because my brother was all upset last week. He goes, what the fuck is this happening with Alexa? Why would you split that character away from Bray? It doesn't make sense anymore. And I said, well, I don't know if you and I talked about it, but I'll tell you, I was like, well, it's chapter 1. Every person who's ever been in contact with Bray Wyatt has changed against their will. They became different. However, what happens when somebody goes in willingly and harnesses that dark side of themselves that maybe they've been suppressing?
Yeah, they embrace it and decide to run with it.
Yeah. And I think that's what it is. I think Lily was always there, kayfabe. But Lily was always there in her mind, and as she's getting more and more in depth with all the Bray and the Fiend stuff, she's able to see and utilize those tactics, techniques, those powers, whatever you want to call it, into accessing her old friend in a way that I was likening to, like, Drop Dead Fred, like those imaginary friend stories where it's like they're there, it's just a matter of trying to get back to them. This just happens to be the evil side of it. And so I'm really interested because this felt like really origin story stuff of, well, I don't need Bray anymore because I got what I was looking for. Like, okay. But now it's like, what the fuck do you do with this? Because the other thing we always thought was weird is when Alexa and Bray first got together, we're like, this can be amazing to have these two together. Alexa will terrorize the women's division the way Bray does the men's. And it didn't happen. Alexa just continued to terrorize the men's division.
Yeah. But see,
so now it just makes me wonder. Go ahead.
Yeah. See, and I know there was a lot of backlash from Mania about the Bray match and stuff like that and what went on, and people, booed it and stuff like that. And I thought it was going to go into something.
Yeah.
So then to have Bray, the Fiend, make his, return at Mania, then just to lose, then to pop up after the RKO, and then for, Alexa to spew that black shit, and then we don't see him again. To me, I feel like, all right, maybe these people were right. Maybe the Mania match for Bray was stupid, and because we haven't seen him since, without any explanation.
Well, we saw the one Firefly Funhouse like 2 weeks ago, where Bray's like, "Well, that bitch is gone," but then that's it.
Yeah.
Like, we need more fun houses. We need to be able to identify where this is going. We need a little bit more explanation from Bray on how he's doing on his side of things, because we're getting all this weird Alexa stuff where she's really branched out, but, like, are we building towards the thing where Alexa eventually gets in the ring and then Bray comes out and ruins something for Alexa? Like, and then what? Are we getting a Bray versus Alexa? That's what I mean. Like, all these things seem so weird in these directions that don't seem like they could pay off. Eddie and Charlotte's not going to pay off. Adam Pearce and Sonya's not going to pay off. And now Alexa and Bray, I don't know that it's going to pay off. If it goes that way, it might just go. I think they need to just be separate and go their separate ways if they're going to separate them. You know what I mean? That's got to be that.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, if you're gonna separate them, go do it. Maybe throw Bray on SmackDown. Have him go back. That way you can have a playground and fun house. Because that's the other thing. If you have like when they did do that fun house, it was weird to me that they did a playground and a fun house on the same episode.
Yeah, you should. But I also think that it's very possible you just split them up on brands, right? You have Bray go to SmackDown and Alexa stay on Raw or something, and because we also haven't had a draft or a shakeup or anything since Mania. It's been more of the same, which has been really weird.
I'm hoping it's they're going to be doing it after Payback.
Yeah.
Payback Backlash.
WrestleMania Payback Backlash.
Yeah, whatever. WrestleMania Payback, WrestleMania Backlash.
Yeah, WrestleMania Backlashly.
Yeah.
Do you think that them throwing Braun in there is just to get the title off Bobby?
I don't know. I think. But then I don't know why you throw Braun in there. Unless, do you think Braun gets the title?
I think he's believable right now.
Yeah.
Which I think is good. He's got to be, right? If you want to throw him in that match and not just have him seem like a Ponzi. Because in the Bray Roman thing, he didn't feel like he belonged there at all. This one, he feels like he belongs in the match. So then it feels like the conversation's open. And the fact that they've been clearly so behind Drew, but giving him over half of the show every week, it just makes me wonder that they're doing all this to get the title back on Drew one way or the other. Is Braun in there to take the pin?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I mean, that could be, and it might set up something interesting, like if Bobby goes to SmackDown.
Yeah. Get Bobby Roman stuff. I just think that Bobby's better as a champion here than, I'd rather see Drew go to SmackDown, and then you get a Drew and Roman program where Roman's just head of the table and on top.
Don't ruin SmackDown. Don't do that.
I just think there's too much star power on Drew McIntyre to take up the whole show, but maybe they don't see it that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
but I can see what you're saying with putting Roman versus Drew. It actually, would be obviously make more sense on just the heel and face type of thing. But
like keep them apart for a long time, but you know what I mean? They just quite don't get there type of a deal. And you can push that whole story all the way to Mania. Make that a big thing. Your Clash of the Titans, as it were, is finally going to happen. Can you believe in all this time Roman's evaded him or whatever? I don't know. Have people come back and do stuff. Have Brock come back or something. I don't know. I just think that there's more to do over there than just take the title off Bobby and say, well, he had the title for a little bit, so that's good, right?
Yeah, he did it.
Yeah, he did it. Woo. Yeah. But I don't know. I just wonder what you thought about that. Anything else that you thought we missed?
Nope.
Me neither. Oh, it's gonna be a tough one. She's so.
Hopefully next week's better.
Yeah, the Raws have been so bad, and I think it's because they're just hanging their entire hat on Drew and Charlotte above everything else. Rhea didn't even look great here, and she was teamed up with the heels. Like, we're supposed to just know she's a bad guy. Where I thought we were cheering her because she came up to the top. She was barely a heel in that match, and people cheered when she won. But now we're not supposed to like her? I didn't get that at all.
I was trying to think of when Rhea became a heel. And I didn't quite get it.
Promo against Asuka, where she said something stupid to Asuka.
Yeah. Yeah, because I was trying to think about it, and I thought I remembered it, but now I forgot it again.
Yeah.
But
no, and especially if you're going to be setting her up against Charlotte at any point in time, Charlotte's the super heel right now.
A heel. Yeah.
Yeah, so I didn't get it. Because I thought it'd be easier to just kind of nonchalantly have Rhea go back to babyface, and it would be to, like, tell a story where she turns good. But what they've done is just been like, she's heel. Just, and I'm like, what? Didn't make any fucking sense to me. No sense whatsoever.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to throw out there?
No. I think I'm good.
All right. Well, guys, you can check us out at twitch.tv/wrestling on the rocks. If you want to come in through the chat, derail the show, become a part of the show, get a cheers from us, or whatever it is you like, you can go to wrestlingontherocks.com for all of our links, all of our social medias. You can find our shop. PWT's shop is located through our wrestlingontherocks.com link. But you can also go to prowrestlingtees.com/wrestlingontherocks. I don't know what I'm supposed to do here, man. Got it. Okay. Those are our links. That's where you can find us. That's where the shop is at. We want to give a special shout out real quick to Terrible Wrestling Takes Podcast, Bishop. We got our care package in, so I'm going to be delivering all of the shirts out to Clump and Kevlar and Amanda Jane sooner than later. But we thank you so much, and cheers to Bishop specifically. But for everybody else, we'll be here. Give us that follow, give us a like, give us a subscribe. Do all those things. Kev, I think that's the last call.
Last call. Let's do it. Cheers.
Hey, producer lady here. Thanks for tuning in. Continue to support us or buy us a drink by following and putting the I in subscribe on Twitch. Or subscribe and review our podcast on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to us. Cheers.
I would never have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks.